Button.
Officially starting.
So, welcome everybody to Choosing Beyond Beyond with myself, Alan Jones, and my awesomely delicious co-host, Keisha Clark. I'm waiting for you to say hello.
Hello.
Dear Lord.
Lily's looking at the screen like, hello, I'm here too.
Hi, Lily.
So
You can't
funny.
see Lily.
We can't really see her. Yeah, I don't know if we like.
Lily's Keisha's pussy.
There she goes. She's gonna get up there so you can see the top of her head now.
Hey, Lils.
There you go. Ta-da.
So
welcome everybody
mm,
to this conversation, May 24th, 2016, of Choosing Beyond Beyond. And our topic today is work hard, play hard, fall down and die. Yeah, isn't that fun?
let's do some of that.
For a lot of people, they just rinse and repeat, right? So do you want to say a little bit about yourself for anybody who might be joining us for the first time, Alan?
I could do that.
Go for it.
Or I could say to them, go and look on our YouTube channel, you'll find out there. But no, that's a bit unkind. So
the abridged version.
So yeah, my name. I'm sorry, I have to apologize. I'm in this kind of really kind of everything distracts me kind of mood. So I have
shiny balls.
Yeah, what is it they call it? All right, it'll come to me what the acronym is. But anyway, so so my name's Alan Jones. I am a certified coach, believe it or not, and a access bars facilitator, and just facilitator of awesomeness. Let's put it that way. I love playing with people and creating change in the world, and my aim for creating something greater in this world is to create a world where kindness prevails and judgment is obsolete. Yeah, so let's just kind of play with that energy just for a minute. Kindness prevails and judgment is obsolete. So universe, show us what that energy is. I think that's a great place to start.
I like it.
So
Lily likes it too.
Yeah. Hello, Lily. So I have a radio show as well. On Mondays called The Playground of Possibilities, which is pretty awesome with Tamara Yunker. We have a lot of fun with that. And with Keisha, we've been hosting these calls, I think, for over a year now.
I think so. Wow.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, it must be. Right.
How cool is that?
Yeah, because we did, we've done one about Scrooge. You remember we did, and we've done, I'm sure we did one the year before that as well. So I think we're over over a year. 6
or 7 conversations now? Yeah.
And they happen kind of every 3 months or so. So choosing beyond, for me, it was like a beyond. Let's just kick that bit off first of all. A beyond is those spaces where you go where everything seems to close down on you and you cannot see anything apart from the crap that you've decided is crap, and you kind of go into panic mode. And that's kind of what we call the beyond. And what we're doing in these conversations is going, okay, so let's choose beyond that. When you choose beyond the beyonds that you're kind of functioning from, going, okay, so what is beyond the, that's what it is. ADOS, attention deficit. Oh, shiny. There you go. Whoops.
I love that.
Hi, Elspeth. So, so it's like our conversations are all about helping people and just contributing to people choosing beyond the beyonds that they're currently functioning from. And specifically, today's one is all about work hard, play hard, fall down and die, which is what so many people do. But before we do that, Keisha, tell us about you.
All right. I'm Keisha. I'm a Sagittarius, and I love coffee. No. And I am a Sagittarius, but I'm also in a super cheeky kind of mood today, which is actually, I'm just having fun with that. How does it get even better? So I'm having fun referring to me as an ambassador of embodiment. I'm sort of I'm enjoying this choosing into more of my capacities with bodies and what I do, being in a body, being with a body, and then working with other beings and their bodies, and facilitating a different kind of relationship between beings and their bodies, and bringing more awareness into people's lives and into the world about and around what gifts our bodies have to offer us, and in many cases are attempting to offer us, that we might not necessarily be willing to acknowledge or receive. And I have 25 plus years in the field of hands-on body work, and in this last 3-ish or so years, I've gone more into adding some of the other things that just naturally occur for me that are along the lines of what we would call energetic body work into the work that I do. I come from a theater background, so I bring all of the elements into the picture, whether that's movement, vocalization, just different ways to really get in touch with your body, become more aware of bodies, and create a really more mutually beneficial relationship between beings and bodies. So how does it get better with bodies? And I love to talk about and facilitate all things sex, things to do with sex. And for me, sex is it includes what we know as physical behavior and copulation types of things. And it also goes way beyond that. So one of my fun things I like to say is I would love to change the way sex is done on this planet, and how much of a beyond is sex and bodies for most people here.
Subject to the next one. There we go.
So, so that is part of what I do. And I also love to work with these amazing animals. I have like a crew of beings who have shown up in feline bodies this time around, and they co-create magnificence with me in ways that I could not have even told you I knew about, and yet we're having a great time and just enjoying this amazing fun we get to have, even though it's not 100% of the time would I say, oh, this is so fun. But I am enjoying the discovery of all of the possibilities when we're willing to choose from the possibilities of what we can create here, and what these beings offer us, and what is available to us on this playground of possibilities. And I also have a show called Living Well that airs on Fridays on a2zen.fm, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And we talk about the willingness to embody abundant living. So we have kind of a broad spectrum that we can pull from. And I'm just today have launched a new show with my a partner in goddessship, Rhonda Burns, and that show is called Sexually Speaking. And it's a little bit different. It's a web show, is what we're calling it. And we'll be giving you more information of how to play with us beyond these conversations in a little while. Just wanted to kind of bring the energy of all of our show stuff, that playground, that embodying abundance, and that enjoying the sex of living into what we're talking about with Work Hard, Play Hard, Fall Down and Die. So where do we want to jump in? What's popping?
Do you know, I was thinking about that as you were talking, and I guess what might help is if we kind of go back and go, why did we pick? How did we get onto this subject of work hard, play hard, fall down and die? What started?
You know, that's funny that came up. What I recall is we had first slated a topic along the lines of, what if you really can have it all, or having it all?
That's right.
And we kept like tapping in, checking in with that. And it was like, it's like we hit a wall,
Yeah.
And it was like this resistance. Like it was just so inconceivable, the whole having it all thing, and all of the projections of what that had to mean. And we were like, what is up with that? And in the course of our conversation of us just playing with our awareness as it came up, we came to this phrase, work hard, play hard, fall down and die. So isn't that interesting?
Well, I think that was because we got to I think it's because Keisha and I are both willing to have it all. Right? We kind of got that. We realized that for that's quite weird. For many people in this world, they're not willing to have it all. Yeah. And so while we were talking about that, we actually asked that question, and the awareness kind of hit us. Oh my God, people actually aren't willing to have it all. They're not even willing to consider that they might have it all. It, you know,
and there was that element too that it seemed like that was so exhausting.
yeah,
because it was such a big job to do.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's one of those, having it all is one of those things that in this reality is so often bitched about, told you're wrong, means in order to have it, you have to step on someone, you have to work really hard. And yeah, exactly. That's kind of where we started going with this. It's like, how much do you have to work in order to have it all? What do you need to sacrifice? And for most people, in order to have it all, they kind of have to sacrifice the play, or they separate the two out, which is how we got then from work hard, play hard. Because I don't know about you, but I often see that I used to work in human resources, and quite often people's curriculum vitae, resume, would say, work hard, play hard. I work hard, play hard, and what does that even mean?
Right. I drive myself crazy no matter what I'm doing, basically.
Because it's like, well, we and I would hear it from one of the departments when I would interview them. They would get these people and say, we work hard as a team, we work really hard, and then we go out and we play hard. And what they meant was they go out and get absolutely wasted on alcohol.
Yeah.
And they drag themselves to work the following day and force their body, kindly, or unkindly even, to just kind of do a whole day, and they would shovel a whole load of drugs, as in kind of headache tablets and food that would just tide them over for the day. And I would see this kind of this work hard, play hard mentality, and someone did fall down and die. This guy. They'd been out on the night. This is an absolute true story. He'd worked really hard. He was only in his kind of 40s, but he got burnout and he just had a heart attack and died.
Wow.
And he didn't even reach retirement age to die. It's like early 40s.
Apparently it's not required.
Yeah, right. And how much do we do this kind of burnout? And what if fall down and die? And we use that as a kind of as a humorous kind of play on it, but you can die on the inside without your physical body kind of dying. It's just a way of kind of describing it.
Mm-hmm.
If I look at my step grandfather, he was in the Navy, and when he gave up being in the Navy, when he retired from that, everything in his life kind of stopped, because his whole life was the Navy. Everything about it was the Navy. The Navy, and he'd work long hours, and he'd be away with, he was a rear admiral by the time he left. And so when he left, he had his brain went to mush. He turned into an alcoholic because he had nothing to keep him kind of there. And it is typically, I would say, men where that happens, where their job is their life, because men are the providers. They work really hard, and I'll enjoy it when I get to my retirement, which is where both my parents are at the moment. And I just look at it and go, what's going to happen to my stepfather when he retires later this year?
Wow. And so there's this consistently as you're talking, the theme of making life hard, difficult, highly pressured, is so prevalent amongst so many people. And you and I got to have another conversation today on a pre-recording of a show we were doing, and there was a similar energetic dynamic that was showing up too, and it was all around the making it difficult, really complicating it, really, as though that is the way we prove something, and that is the way we gain a value, for our lives. So
what is that? What is that
that's
need?
Very interesting.
Yeah, what is that energy that people are tapping into, that are making really solid and real, that are making them bigger than them, making it unchangeable? What is that energy that we seem to be hanging on to with our fingernails to keep a grip as this thing kind of drags us through? do you know, the image that pops into my head is almost like we're hanging on for dear life to a rope that's pulling us through the bushes, that's tearing our body to crap.
Through
And
the
in order,
briars.
right, yeah, through the briars. And all we have to do is let go. We've
Yeah,
decided that if I let go, that's going to be more painful than being dragged through the brushes. Where did we buy that? And from whom
that
and
is so cute.
when? When did
Wow.
we buy that?
Like the only way to there's it's like a this need to proof, this need to evidence, and
Yeah.
that the only way that can happen is through the struggle, because then you know you're alive, right? Only, are you really living? You might be breathing, but does that
Is that
absolutely,
it? Is that? I mean,
you
that
know,
really is. That's insane, isn't it? I
it is
feel
insane.
alive when I'm feeling pain. I feel alive
Yeah,
when I'm dealing with intensity.
yeah. How cray cray is that?
And
But
yet,
that's what's so normal.
yeah.
Sorry, what was it?
I was just going to say, and yet that's where some of us live.
Exactly. I have certainly spent many years there.
I
Yeah.
feel like I'm there right now, which is why I'm so grateful for this call.
Yay!
Awesome.
And how freaking cool is that? And as Alan was just talking, I was like, I'm still doing that in certain places. And when you said let go of the rope, there was this huge like rush of energy, because I have some things going on in my life that are really super intense, that if if we were to look at them through conventional filters, would look sort of like, well, you're up a creek without a paddle, honey.
Yep.
And at the same time, it's like, okay, what do I know beyond this? What am I aware of beyond all of these parameters in the three-dimensional representation of my life? So thank you for that, Josephine. And how many of us, yes, how what are we aware of?
Ayla, so
Wow.
Ayla's in the chat room has put, how do you break the cycle? And I'm gonna refer to another call that I did very recently with Lisa Murray, called "How to Unfuck Your Future." Right? It was an awesome
Brilliant.
call, and we were talking about that, where we've been caught up in these past choices, so where we've made choices in the past that, in some ways can't necessarily be unpicked, as it were, or changed overnight. Now, I'm kind of almost throwing the gauntlet down to you and going, none of you can change anything that quickly. So we'll just see if any of you can kind of prove me wrong.
Mr. Wedgie Man.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, so one of the things that really came out of that for me, that I really got for me, was we've got to let go of trying to unpick the past. Unpicking your past will not change the future. It just keeps you focusing back on the cycle that you've been on again and again and again. And you're looking at this rope going, how do I unpick this rope that I'm hanging on to that's pulling the briars?
How do I unbraid it while I'm being...
Yeah, how do I unbraid it while I'm being pulled through the poo?
That is so accurate for how I'm feeling right now.
So I invite you then, Josephine and Ayla, if that's where you're at as well, and you, Keisha, and anyone else listening to the call.
For everyone who's,
So let's get the energy of, what would it be like to let go of the rope now? So energetically, that's what I want to invite you to. Just let go of the rope. And you know what? I'm kind of almost feeling this, I want to, but I can't. 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 Okay, stop. Stop the monkey mind. It's like, just do it. Just absolutely do it. Are you an infinite being, or are you not? So I would just invite everyone now, just drop your barriers, drop all of your barriers. So barriers down, barriers down, barriers down, barriers down, all of those. The ones you're hanging on to, come on, drop them. Drop them, babe. Let them down. All of those thoughts telling you can't, drop the barriers, and then just expand your energy out and go, okay, universe, show me how to drop the rope that I'm hanging on to.
Yeah, I had a moment in particular. I've had a number of moments here recently, but there was one in particular that I received some news that involved uh, the possibility, and quite more so, really, the very much likelihood that a number of my circumstances will be drastically changing before the end of the year. And I was aware of where, like, the first round of my reaction went into the resistance of that information and of those possibilities. Like, I just wanted to brace against that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just letting myself be aware of what I was, kind of where I was wanting to go. And I was also aware that that was out of habit, because that is what we learn. And it's an easy way to follow where our attention goes. And typically our attention goes to the problem, or the difficulty. And it was really fascinating because having played with the tools of access, with various and sundry other modalities, law of attraction, all kinds of different formats and structures or things to play with. I have quite a bit of tools. And now that I'm actually choosing to use them rather than just talk about them, it's really fascinating to see what's showing up. Because I had this moment where it was like, oh, wait a minute. Okay, I became aware of what I was doing and like where those default mechanisms were and where that would take me and what that would likely create, which wasn't what I desire. And it was kind of cool. I was able to start to go to more to the what is beyond this, because I'm really loving playing. Show me what it is to function beyond this reality, beyond conventional methodology, beyond what is the norm, because as you said, Alan, we are infinite beings of magnitude, creators of magnitude. And so if we truly be that, what is required for us to actually begin to really create what it is we are capable of creating that is beyond the work hard, play hard, the difficulty, the proving and the evidencing and all of that. And what I noticed was when I began to play with that question, a very different energy showed up. Don't have human words for it.
Mm.
But there was this ease. There was almost like my body could exhale. And there's still, I'm still aware that because this is ongoing, this is going to take some linear time because some things have to be, it's a sort of a logical progression for the most part, that is a part of this. And yet there's a different way that I'm being with it, and I'm not trying to, there's not a compulsion of like trying to butt heads with it right now, which is really nice, because that's the hard way that I chose for many of my ventures and creations.
But what was the question? I'm sorry to interrupt you, but what was
what is truly possible beyond all of this that I can physically see? And what is a different choice here that would actually create or allow me to create what I know is possible? One of the things I'm really aware of is that we can get so distracted into the intensity of what's going on in those moments, and there's no wrongness in that. It's sometimes it's what we do. I've done a lot of that, and what I can also say is you do reach a point where it's like you can catch yourself, and you start to catch yourself more and more and more, and then it's just part of your awareness, and you're like, wait a minute, I can choose, okay, I'm going this way. That's not light for me. That is light for me, even though it makes no freaking sense, and it looks like I'm ignoring my responsibility. That's lighter, and so it's like you start to trust, again, letting go of that rope. You begin to trust what you don't see, but you do know, something that you do know. How does that land for anybody else?
what I get from all of that you're saying is you've got to be willing to make the demand of you to be and do whatever it takes
There's that.
to make the change. And so all of this stuff, all that you were talking about was that kind of that different energy. It's that when you make the demand of you to be and do whatever it takes, no matter how nonsensical it may seem at the time, that's when, because if you keep picking familiar energies, all you're doing is trying to unpick the past or duplicate the
Exactly.
energies from the past. So the energies that are required in order to create something different are gonna feel different. They're gonna feel slightly awkward, for want of a better phrase.
And they don't follow any logic that
don't.
has been created here.
Because if you followed logic, you would still be. That's the point. It's bloody logic that got you in the place where you're at the moment.
Exactly.
So you've got to be out of logic.
Which isn't logical,
right? Because we're infinite beings. There's an infinite being focused for like there's no logic to magic. Magic is not logical. Potency is not logical.
Exactly.
And Ayla's saying in here in the chat room, being afraid of my own greatness. Is that true? Is an infinite being truly afraid of their own greatness, or is it just matter of fact? Just a question. It's not to make you wrong. And here's the other thing. What if you never made yourself wrong for what you have been choosing? What if you can just look at it and go, wow, I was choosing that. And you know what? At the moment, I am still choosing that. And that's okay. Truth, do I truly desire something different? Yes, I do. Okay. So what else can I choose right now that will start to change that for me? And it's those, what may even seem to be small choices that, as Keisha was saying, don't make sense, that are a bit weird or funky, that feel like, do you know what, I'm just going to do this.
Yeah. Yeah. Something's occurring for me about part of what I wonder if we're on the precipice of is this. I don't have a better thing to identify it. Like something in our, what we could refer to as a collective consciousness or a collective knowing, like the greater global community or universal community of how many stories are in place to example the different things that make up our lives, the different laws of nature, the different laws of physics. How many of these stories that were put in place eons ago, how aware are we of how twisted and contorted so many of those stories have become, and how now it is time to go beyond those stories? But if we've created our life from so many of our lives from so much of the story, and the effect of the stories, which are usually involving hardship, suffering, proving of worth, devaluing.
Well, it's not worth it if it doesn't
greater
work.
Than, lesser than, So yeah. So how much of that do we feel like we have to? What's that word? Conquer, rather than what if part of what this perception is this calling, this invitation to acknowledge that we actually do know that more is possible beyond what all of these stories have held in place.
Do as you talk about that, the thing that flashes into my head is I've got to conquer the wall. So you've got to climb over this wall, right? Even though right in front of you there's a gate that's open.
Right.
But I have to prove to myself and the world that I can actually climb over this wall, because I've seen other people do it. They killed themselves in the process. They caused themselves so much pain in the process, but they did it. Therefore, they must be better than me.
The gate is the easy way.
Yeah, and it can't be easy.
And we don't value ease.
Nope.
Now, isn't that insane? But we say we want that. We talk about how stressed out we are. We talk about how sick we are. We talk about how exhausted we are. We talk about how, we're wasting so many of our natural resources and on and on and on. And yet, do we allow ourselves to have a value for ease?
Yeah, and Gina's put in the chat room here. So what if instead we just blow that shit up? I think
Yes,
that's a great
let's do
question.
that.
And what if we stop making it real?
Yes.
Don't we have to make all of this crap real in order to blow it up? What if we just look at it and go, oh, that's an illusion, that's an interesting point of view, that's somebody else's reality. I don't have to function from that space, because when I have my reality for me, there's no bloody wall in the first place.
Yeah. Although I will say, I did have fun in the 80s. I'm dating myself a little. When we used to do the mimic of the hand grenade thing, so you pull the pin, you throw it, and it blows up. So we could blow it up that way.
Absolutely. It's like whatever will be most fun for you. Because it's like, if other people are living from their story, that's cool. Let them live from that story. Let them live from the fact, okay, well, I'm choosing really hard and my life is really difficult. Do you know what? That's okay. You've got to be an allowance of what other people are choosing. So how often are we trying to conquer these walls to show other people that they can do it too? When really, perhaps what the greatest kindness would be is to walk through the gate. Is not to do what everyone else has done and conquer the wall, just to try and be the kindness. What if we just go,
the gate's
hey, look,
open.
let's go through the gate. Are you willing to be judged as being a cheater and having it easy? Now I am, yeah, but for years I wasn't.
I wasn't.
I'll walk through the gate. I'll walk through the gate.
Yeah.
Damn it, it's like...
Oh, God, sacrifice.
So yeah, let's invite you. Let's choose beyond the beyonds here of the conquering of the wall, and let's choose to go through the gate. Let go of the rope. Let go of the rope. It lets go of the rope.
Step away from the rope.
Exactly. Step away from the rope. Walk through the gate. Go through the gate. And now feel that space.
That's
Choose
amazing.
beyond the story. Yeah, there's such a fantastic energy. Just let go of the rope. Absolutely.
There you go. Yeah. So here's something I'm curious about. I know that for a lot of us, it could be, well, if this is true for you, let us know. I know that I often have this sense of being solo, being like the only one who, in this community or in this geographical area, is choosing this. Now, I have the great fortune that not too far away from me lives another creatress of magnitude, Rhonda Burns, and a whole lot of creators of magnitude, because I know that. I don't get to play with very many of them on a regular basis, as much as I do Rhonda. But I know that even with us being in close proximity in some cases, it can feel like we are the minority of who are choosing for, to go beyond the stories, to go beyond the crazy. So what I wonder is if we can be asking the universe to show us the ways and the places that we can be showing up more and noticing more or receiving more, to have the camaraderie of the people who are choosing, kind of like what we're doing with Choosing Beyond Beyond. Creating that community through technology. I mean, without Zoom, holy moly, I wouldn't, and Skype and, these other modern technological methods, I wouldn't get to play with you, Alan. Oh my gosh.
No.
We wouldn't have our radio shows. So I wonder if what we can now be choosing to actually expand this even more so that we are creating more of a community of choosing the ease and the fun of creating our lives here. Because what did we show up to do? And it doesn't have to be some big significant thing. We might have just shown up to paint somebody's house and okay, now we're done. We've completed what we came here to do. We can go, What if it's that simple? Or if we showed up to pioneer something totally new. And I think this came up in one of Rhonda's shows the other day, this question, and I just loved it. I think it was her show that aired this past week with Dana Lewis. What was the question? What changes have you come to pioneer?
Mm-hmm.
And I just love that. And it was like, oh, and what if pioneer doesn't have to be such a difficult job? What if, like you said, Alan, what if just walking through the gate could be pioneering a new way,
It's because even, people who kind of profess just the easy way of saying it. It's not to say that they're not, but people who state that they are choosing consciousness will often say, "Well, I'm a pioneer of consciousness," and pioneers are the ones. You think about the pioneers who came to America from, just from England and Ireland and all the other kind of places in Europe, and they were there with the kind of the Native Americans and the wolves and the coyotes and and it was like it was so hard for them, and the same with the ones who went to Africa.
There it is again.
Yeah, it's like there's that really heavy energy of every time we're going into frontiers new, it's got to be hard. And that's a story.
That is a story.
I'm just going to say that again. That is a story. And you can buy that as true as much as you possibly want. And the way to invite people to something different is not to choose it and try and change it from there, because you won't. It's to create something different and be the invitation to somewhere else. You keep jumping into somebody else's pool of poo to try and push them out, you're just going to end up being stepped on and covered in more poo.
You get really smelly.
So what you've got to do is go to the pool next door where there's the champagne and the pool boys or girls, whatever your preference is, or both, whatever. Why not have both, who are taking around the champagne and have all of that.
Yeah.
So you've got to be the invitation. So,
I love Ayla's question.
Yeah.
What question can you ask when you feel the pull of finishing a project or working harder or something else? So, do you want to jump in with that, Alan?
So yeah, I mean, for me, it's like when I'm feeling the pull of finishing a project, I would ask the question, okay, so what's required here? Truth. What's required here? What requires my attention? Hey, Charlie.
Hi, Charlie.
So, what would create the most? So let me tell you, everyone, about what I've got going on at the moment. I have got like loads of classes that I'm hosting in London. I've got events that I'm kind of hosting as well, including kind of like this one. I've got another event tomorrow, which is the unveiling of a coaching program that I'm doing with Betsy McClellan, which will go live on the 1st of June, which is really exciting. And, I've got classes with Lisa Murray, and I've got, my own stuff that I'm creating. I've got another. So all of this stuff is kind of going on. And I went away on holiday to Spain for a week, and I came back and I was aware I had this body class, a 3-day body class this weekend. There are 2 other classes going on at the same time in the evenings. I'm looking at all this stuff going, what the fuck am I going to do? I have got all of this stuff. I have no idea where to start.
Where's the gate?
So, right, yeah. So I'm looking at this insurmountable pile of stuff that's requiring my attention. And so barriers down, I just expanded my energy and I went, okay, so what requires my attention the first? And I did that. And now what requires my attention next? Yeah. And that's kind of how I did it. What would create the most? What requires my attention next? And yes, there are other things that seemed to be sometimes screaming at me. And my attention was, okay, look, I will get to you in a minute. And so I'm kind of having conversations with each of the things that require my attention as if they are separate entities.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that.
So it's like, so that's where I would go with that, Ava, is what requires my attention now? What would create the most? And then what would it take for this to be ease? What energy, space, and consciousness can I be to have total ease with everything I choose and everything that's requiring my attention? And does it all need to be done right away?
Brilliant. Yeah.
Sorry, Keisha, go.
When you were talking about the pioneers and the frontiersmen, and what occurred to me was so many of the stories we hear about the difficulties really come from the fact that the difficulty came out of the fact that where they were functioning from was basing what it was supposed to look like on what they had already seen.
Yeah.
It wasn't from them functioning from the space of question of what would it take to dwell here, to live here, to create here with ease. Now, who knows if they had that question or not? So it's not to make them wrong for what they did. And at the same time, how aware are we? I mean, there are all kinds of stories of the horrible things that were done to other people in the process of conquering these lands. And there were a lot of brilliant creations that came out of this as well. So it's interesting because as you were saying that, I hadn't really looked at that sort of differential about the difficulty of it, what made it hard, and what could it have been. And so when we're looking at being pioneers, what change have you come to pioneer? What I wonder is, what if we have the capabilities and the capacities to be the pioneers with a greater ease? How many of us have done it the hard way so many times, right? So what if being a pioneer is about something totally different than paving a way or cutting a path, or right? Does that land for anybody else?
Yeah, because the word pioneer is like, I'm literally like, ugh, I don't even want to hear it. There's something about the energy of the word that is just
right.
If there's like this layer of obligation or this layer of hard work.
Yeah. How much struggle is entwined in that word, right? What if it just means the discoverer of a totally new possibility?
The only thing that should be hard in this life is a penis.
Yeah.
Popular point of view, yes.
Yeah. That's the only piece of hardness you want to play with.
Yeah, and how willing are we to even receive that?
Right?
Right?
Well, yeah, absolutely. God,
so it's like, I mean, do we want to go there?
That's where the energy's going.
How hard do we make getting hard? It's like, that's too funny that even came up.
Well, work hard, play hard, fall down and die. How many people work really hard at trying to have a good sex life? They work really hard at trying to make it play, and they actually do cause themselves to have a heart attack. How many men die on top of someone else having sex? It's quite a lot, apparently.
Yeah, yeah. It is interesting. Wow, that just like blew this wide open. We have to go to part 2 next week. Okay, so that's an interesting energy. What is that? What is the story of that? What is the value of that? That there's like something about the value and the proofing, like we were talking about in the first part of the conversation, that is also a part of this, but it's like, I don't have words. Do you?
I love my metaphors as they pop into my head. Sex is often kind of pushed towards relationship, and you have to work at a relationship for it to be fun, right? There's that energy. And Victoria Wood had this series called Dinner Ladies, which was just brilliant. It was this real caricature of all these people who worked in a canteen in the kitchen cooking the food for the workers. And one of the girls' mothers who worked there said, I keep telling Jean, sex is like icing a cake. You got to bloody concentrate. And, that it was kind of done as a tongue-in-cheek joke, but so many people do think that you have to really work at sex to make it playful, to make it, and it's like, is that really true?
That is so heavy. Oh my God.
I don't know about you, but when I'm really kind of going to push some buttons here, is that when I first started exploring my body, masturbation was not hard work. Right? Playing with another man's body, which just came perfectly natural to me, was really easy until I started kind of listening to other people going, oh, well, you have to do this, and you have to do this, and it has to be done this way, and it has to take this long, and you have to make sure you do this bit, this bit, this bit. Again, it reminds me of Friends, where Monica is talking to Chandler about how to turn on a woman, and she's going, you start with a 1 and then a 2 and then a 1 2 1 2 3, and then she gets kind of finally to number 7. She's just going. Right. So it was a really fun show, but she was just like, and he was just sitting there going, oh my God, what is, you're showing me stuff that, how am I going to remember all that? Well, what if you just, one of the things I love when I'm playing with a man's body is just to ask his body, what does it desire? Where do you want me to go? And I just follow that and play with that. And so if we equate that to creating our life as well, what if, to go back to your question, Ayla, about the projects, when you've had all those, how do you want me to play with you today?
Oh, I love that. How would you like me to play with you?
Yeah, so let's, what if it's all about play? What if there is no work? What if it's all about play? what if we stop trying to separate it out and go, okay, so what play can I add to the projects that would make them ease for me?
I love that. I think we want to capture these. Wow.
We can pay someone to listen to this and write it all down. Anyone want to earn some money? Mm-hmm. We'll give you 10%.
What play could I add today that would repeat that, Alan? Or has it changed?
What play can I add to... So for me, it would be like, what play can I add to my day today that would create more ease?
Got it. I like that.
What play can I add to these projects? Or projects, how would you like me to play with you today? Yeah, what play could I add to my life today that would create more ease? What play can I add?
What if we ask that to the universe every day? Universe, how would you like me to play with you today?
Yeah, I do that with money every day. Hey, money, how do you want to play with me today? Right? Because if money follows joy, which it does, and you say, you know, you want to create more joy in your life, money, how would you like to play with me today?
Mm-hmm. And another way that I like to kind of spin that kind of question, and this is from a series we recently did, Rhonda and I, we played with Charlinda's 10 Days of Summit, and our 10 days was 10 days of having sex with the universe. And that was one of our key questions, was what would it be like to be having sex with the universe today, having sex with money today, to be having sex with my businesses today. And it kind of just ramped up that whole juiciness play factor, again, because of all of the charge we have around sex. But actually, then what do we know about what sex is and what the possibilities of sex are? That when we are willing to ask those questions, same as with play, the ease of it can show itself to us.
Well, watch a child playing. They don't make it hard work.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
But you know,
how much joy and sexualness is a part of the child's play.
Yeah.
You know.
Kids have no point of view about sexualness and receiving. And by sexualness, I don't mean kind of copulation. I mean that willingness to receive. And for us to have ease in our life, we've got to be willing to have total vulnerability, because otherwise, if you're not willing to receive everything, you're cutting off your awareness. If you cut off your awareness, you won't perceive the possibilities of ease and play in your life. So, universe, show me everywhere I'm unwilling, or I'm blocking or unwilling to receive total awareness.
Yeah. And another one that's kind of popping is everywhere that we have only been willing to receive hard. Difficult, complicated, uncomfortable, awkward, stressful.
Now there's the thing. I'm just going to play with that. When it comes to sex, right, specifically, there needs to be something hard, typically.
For certain parts. Yep.
For certain parts, depending on what you're doing. So we've kind of decided that the only way I can ever receive in sex is when it's hard. So where we bastardized that and kind of, yeah, right, it has to be hard or you can't have sex. Now, actually, some of the best sexual kind of interactions I've had with someone was when neither of us actually got hard, which was fascinating. And it was a really intense kind of intimate kind of hours. We're talking a couple of hours here. No erections whatsoever, which kind of initially was a little bit spooky because it's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. You know, it's like, okay, just relax into it. Just play with that. And it worked really, really well. So it's like, what is required? Where have I misidentified and misapplied erection with hardness? And in every area of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Elspeth, what is work? Who knows? Sorry.
No. I was just thinking the word duty just keeps coming up too. Like somehow there's some kind of duty. Like sexual duty, you know?
It's your duty to take it.
Yes.
Sorry.
Is it your duty to take it?
You're saying duty, right?
Yeah.
Because sorry, my English accent.
I know, in English, yes.
Duty?
D-U-T-Y.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. It's like, what the hell is duty? Duty's one of those things that a dog does on the pavement, isn't it?
Well, duty does feel like duty.
Well, doesn't it? Right.
Too.
Yeah.
Do your duty. Do your duty.
Duty
Wow.
is duty.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember.
How much room is there in that for receiving? Ouch.
Right.
Wow. Brilliant. Thank you, Josephine. Wow.
Awesome. Thank you for coming. Yeah,
Wow.
this is just.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you for coming. Duty. You dirty bird.
You could be duty
It was
free.
my duty to come.
Yeah, duty free. What if we had
I
a
like
life of
that.
duty free? There is such a great graphic in there.
There you go. That's juicy. Wow.
I remember this time when this guy literally turned to me and said, "Do you mind giving me one of those fabulous blowjobs you can give me?" And I was like, if you had maybe asked it a little bit differently, but there was this energy of duty, and it was just like, no, I don't really want to now.
Well, that's it with sex, isn't it? How often is it? Well, I've done that to you, therefore you must do that to me.
Yeah.
And what if, a really good friend actually, who I know very well, her partner was, she loves giving guys blowjobs, and that for her is a lot of fun. And she's going out with this guy, and, she just one morning just decided that she was going to give him a blowjob, and she just said, "Look, just lay back and relax. I don't expect you to do anything to me afterwards." And it was really hard, no pun intended, for him just to lay there and receive it.
Totally.
Because we think that if somebody does something for us, we have to do something back, and we turn that kind of stuff into hard work. So even with our business, if someone does something for our business, or someone gifts us something for free, I have to give you something back. If you give me some kind of sexual interaction, I have to give something back to you. Well, wow. What if that's not always true?
Just how much have we complicated receiving with obligation?
Right.
Which completely annihilates the receiving, the gift of the receiving, the generativeness of the receiving.
Something else is coming up for me because, I guess I'm really great at giving blowjobs. I'm just going to put that out there.
Good for you. That's a gift. I'm with you there, girl.
And it's become this, I don't know, like if I give a guy a blowjob and he really likes it, there's like this addiction to having another blowjob. Like this energy of like, oh, well, you gave me this great blowjob, so you're going to give me a great blowjob again, right? And when is that going to happen? And is it going to be in 10 minutes? Or is it going to be tomorrow? And what can I do to get it? And then it's like, I wish I had never done that. Because now it comes with this energy of like, you know what I'm trying to say? This energy of like, have to.
So
that's for me.
Yeah. Would
love to shift that, change that.
Sure. So would you be willing to outcreate that? Would you be willing to out-manipulate them?
Yes.
Because that's what they're doing. So that's what I would ask the question. Okay, so sorry, go.
So what's coming up is, where this might be a little weird, but so when you are actually gifting fellatio, this blowjob, where are you aware that you're functioning from?
Functioning from the place of wanting to give pleasure.
The joy of that? Okay. Yeah, and so is anything occurring for you, or let's just ask, if there's anything present in your unconscious world or in your world unconsciously that is allowing the what is that? It's a sort of like a sparking of an expectation. Are you having any kind of hesitation? And I'm not saying that this is not about making it significant and making it your fault. I'm just looking at the component that you're carrying that actually gives rise to that in whatever you're playing with. So if whatever awareness comes up for you now or over the next few days, maybe play with destroying and uncreating that, changing that, choosing beyond that, and asking how much more total joy and ease can you be having with that? Yeah, because I get like it is a
it's the whole Catholic thing. It's the whole fucking Catholic thing.
There you go. So the servitude gets kind of mixed in with the joy of it.
Yeah.
That's yucky.
May I chuck something else into the equation as well?
It.
Yes, please.
Josephine, how many lifetimes have you been a hooker or a prostitute?
Oh, wow.
And I'm not saying you're one now. What I'm saying is, but
even if you were, we'd still love you.
Yeah, and actually, what if there's nothing wrong with that? It's like, so even, I have a friend who actually, she does a lot of access consciousness classes, and the way she pays for them is that she's an escort in the evenings. That's what she does. And she's not a kind of a cheap hooker. She's, I guess you'd call it high class. Whether even if she was cheap, who cares? Like, that's what she's choosing. That's what works for her. And she chooses when it happens. Like, so it's like, where are you giving your power over to someone else to say, okay, well, you've asked me it, therefore I have to do it? That's kind of making someone else greater than you. And how many people look at prostitutes and say, well, you're a prostitute, therefore you should. How many lifetimes have you functioned from that space of being, of hiring prostitutes for that, of being a prostitute yourself, and being paid and expected? And often men will not necessarily give you, or not just men, women too, they will hire sex workers by taking them out for dinner. Right. It won't necessarily be money. So there is that. So all of those lifetimes where you've still got that kind of going on, that if someone asks you and expects you, therefore you'll do it because that's the only way you'll get paid or the only way you'll receive something. Will you choose beyond? Yeah. Will you choose beyond that? And I'm asking that for everyone who's been here, because there is nothing. None of us have been. Yeah.
Right. And choosing beyond the culture that I was, that I incarnated into, this culture of being of Sicilian, the Sicilian culture, the Italian culture, that servitude.
So how much of the temple whore, the divine prostitute, the sacred sexual healer, are you not acknowledging?
Wow. Okay.
And when you are gifting these blowjobs, what are you creating in these men's bodies that they perhaps have never experienced before?
Right.
And perhaps that's part of what I want that again. So what if we were to nurture that desire and whatever energies are required for you to perceive, know, be, and receive more of that, just ask that to be showing up. Wow. Apparently there's a few of us on this call now and in the future. So how cool is that? Yeah, that's awesome, Josephine. That's awesome.
And what if you be willing to use it to your advantage when they say to you, when am I going to have it again? Say, when you buy me a diamond ring. Right? Fuck it. Yeah. If that's what they want, it's like, okay, so how can you use that to your advantage rather than resist and react, going, wow, that person's functioning from that space. That's awesome. I don't have to resist and react to that. I can just acknowledge it. It's just information. Wow, okay. Yeah, do you know what? I will happily do this for you as often as you like if you get me a diamond ring. Or if you take me on holiday, or it's like, and play with it. It's like, and that's what I mean by out manipulate. It's like, how much fun can you have with that?
I'm hearing all these marketing slogans,
right? And what do you want sexually? Yeah, you can do that if you will do the same to me.
If it's fun for you.
If it's
Is it fun for you? Yeah. Would it be fun for you? What would make it fun for you?
Yeah.
There you go.
Personally, I love kind of. Yeah, I'm
that's a really juicy energy. Yeah. And so, how difficult is this? Is it difficult for just like, let's take a moment and acknowledge this energy that's showing up? It's like, so at what point are we reaching? Are we reaching the threshold? Is there a threshold in place beyond which we let it?
The orgasm is coming.
More of kind of the
right? How does it get even better than that?
Yeah. So I reckon we should all go away and give blowjobs.
Well, if we have to.
Yeah. So
this has been such an amazing conversation, you guys.
Some places I never thought
I would not have imagined. I know.
Oh, the whole heart.
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions before we sort of start to wrap it up? We have gone we're right at the hour now because we did start about 5 minutes after. So, any questions for this round of work hard, play hard?
Fall down and die.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get back up again.
So, yeah, get back up again and do it all over again. So all of the forget. So that's the thing I was actually meant to say earlier on. When you notice you're in some kind of loop, that's probably what we would call a Mobius strip, which is the kind of the infinity. You're going round and round and round in circles. So when you notice you're doing something again and again, just ask to destroy and uncreate all of the loops or the Mobius strips, depending on which you can remember, that are creating it. When you find yourself kind of repeating yourself, destroy and uncreate the Mobius strips or the loops. So.
And did you also suggest who does this belong to?
Yeah, well, I hadn't, but no, we can do that too.
If it doesn't belong to us, no amount of clearing is going to change it.
No.
So get rid of everything that isn't yours to begin with. Yeah.
And the lie. So if you can't change something, it's either it's not yours or it's a lie. You cannot change a lie. So this thing around, but it's always hard, or it has to be hard, is a lie. You will never be able to change that. You know, so it's like, so universe, show me, and you got to be courageous to do this one. Show me everywhere I'm lying to myself.
Wow.
Because the universe will. And it's not from a space of unkindness, but I keep asking that question. Universe, show me everywhere I'm lying to myself, because when I stop lying to myself, I can be everything I be with no apology.
Yeah. How cool is that? What an amazing conversation. Thank you, everyone. And everyone who's listening to this on the replay in the future, know that you are contributing to this conversation. And what are we willing to let it create in the world and in our lives? And wow, I'm now excited to, like, do we have to wait 3 months to do our next Choosing Beyond Beyond?
I don't see why. The energy's there.
We can jump on it.
We can jump on it and not make it hard. So, I'm truly grateful for everyone, for their questions, for their fun, for the laughter. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Elspeth, and
thank you, Elspeth, and Ayla,
and Rhonda was there,
and Charlie, and Rhonda.
Charlie.
Oh my gosh, who did we miss? And Gina. Oh my gosh. Wow. So, how much more ease can we be being and choosing and having and inviting ourselves into more of, into the world? Just all of that, with the play, with the joy, with the ecstasy, with the sexualness. What do we know that could create greater change now? Would you be willing to let some of that loose in the world?
Yeah. Choose beyond the beyonds of work.
And stay in touch. I would love to invite everyone, if you have questions, topics, put them on the Choosing Beyond Beyond Facebook page. We love to play with questions. We love to play with the energies, and we love to have these conversations. So it's as much a contribution to Alan and I as it is to anyone else. How did we get so lucky to get to play with this with all of you? Thank you for all of that. So, Alan, do you have an invitation or anything you want to just mention so that it's recorded?
I have just one, for prosperity or posterity?
Posterity.
Or posterior.
Or all of the above.
All of the above and others. So tomorrow I have a call tomorrow with Betsy McLaughlin, which is the unveiling of the Brilliant Preneurship Academy. So you can if you go to my page on Facebook and look at events, there's that there, or you can go to my website, which is ALUN Jones.com, and there's details on there about, because this whole thing around brilliance and being willing to embrace our brilliance is just so related to the courage that we have to be here and create a difference in the world. So come and play. It's a free call. Tomorrow's is a free call. We're just going to play with unlocking our brilliance, and then invite you to the academy.
Some very cool stuff going on. And I would like to put a shout out to everyone to firstly come play with on our radio shows when you have the opportunity to do that. Alan is a co-host of Playground of Possibilities, which airs live on Monday mornings in the US, Monday afternoons in the UK, and I guess it's more early Tuesday morning in the Southern Hemisphere.
It's midnight in Brisbane, so
Yeah.
10 o'clock in the evening in Perth.
10-ish, yeah. So start the day with us or stay up late with us. And I am the host of Living Well on Fridays, which airs at 11 a.m. Eastern, and pretty much the same as we said for Alan's. So those are more opportunities to play for free, to ask questions. We have the live chat feature on a2zen.fm, which is where both of those shows are living right now. And what else? How many of these opportunities and possibilities can we be playing with to be creating more, creating greater? And if you're daring, if you're feeling in the mood, I have another venture. It is called Sexually Speaking, and it airs on Tuesdays as a web show, and it does require a ticket. Tickets are free. And if you go to Facebook.com/Living Well with Keisha, you'll see information on there to get a ticket. And then you can play with us each week on Sexually Speaking with myself and Rhonda Burns. So we have lots of ways to come and play, and we will be doing more Choosing Beyond Beyond. And really, what is beyond this that is now available to us to be having and choosing and actualizing? And wow, this is amazing. Thank you, Alan, for choosing this with me.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I am a wealthy and privileged woman. Thank you. And thank you, everyone, for coming to play.
A wealthy and privileged man.
Bye.
Okay. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.